things like that. That helps bring the light out of the darkness. I don't know about the rest of you, but I've felt this heavy oppression. And I am just trying to stand in my space. Just stand still. And that song has gotten me through so many things. But I want to talk to you a little bit about my history. I was studying, I love Jane Goodall. She is my person, and I got to meet her a couple of times. And you know, when you have somebody that you really admire and you actually get to talk to them, that is a big deal. That is a big deal. And I'm in recovery. I've been sober 39 years. And that's when my life really turned around. The first day of my sobriety, I went down to Palm Springs and I listened to Jane Goodall. And I got to meet her. And several years later, someone said that she was on National Geographic, and I thought, well, I can find her, because we didn't have all this technology and computers at that time. I'm pretty old. I'm dating myself. It's all right. So I tried to contact her, and I contacted her secretary, and I said, I need to know where she's going to be so I can meet her. And they said she's going to be at Griffith Park on this date. So I went. There was like thousands of people there. I thought, I didn't expect that. I don't know why. But anyway, I almost missed my chance to speak to her because there were so many people. And I had told her secretary, I said, I really need to just talk to her for a second. I said, because she changed my life. I said, the first day of my sobriety, she was there. And I want to tell her she didn't just save chimpanzees, she saved me. And so anyway, pushing through the crowd, and the security person says, no more people, and we're the last two, right? I'm like, no, you can't do this. And I've got my camera, and I'm going to the secretary, Miss Dana, and she goes, oh, come on, she said, wear something, so I'll recognize you. And I had my Otter shirt on so that she would know it was me. So Miss Goodall comes out of this tent, she goes, oh, it's just too hot. And she comes over, and I had this little otter pouch that I'd made her. And I told her, I said, I know you get millions of presents, but I really wanted you to have this because you saved my life. And she just kept looking at me like, you are so strange. But I got to get my picture with her. And but on through my life, I thought, okay, I've been sober for quite a while, and no big thing happened when I got sober. And I thought, wait a minute, you met Jane Goodall the first day of your sobriety. So it was like, okay. Well, anyway, I've always loved people and studying people. So anthropology was my calling. I just loved it. So I was getting my master's degree at Cal State San Bernardino in applied anthropology. And I was doing it on spiritual healing. So someone said, well, why don't you go to a powwow with us? There's a lot of medicine people there and whatever. And I said, okay. So I go to this powwow. I'm 40 years old, right? I've never been to a powwow, not even interested in a powwow. But there was something about the drum. That drum just called me. And so this friend of mine says, well, you can wear the shawl and you can dance. And I said, I don't think so. Because, they're big bustles, these guys with all, powwow dancers. But this was at Sherman Indian School. And this native man next to me said, well, what tribe are you? And I said, I'm Hungarian. And he said, oh, one of those Eastern tribes. And I said, you bet. I mean, if you know anything about the Hungarians, we come from the Mongols. We're a force to be reckoned with.
Yes, we are.
So anyway, he said, just go on down there. So because the native man told me I could go down there, I thought, okay. So I go in and I step in that arena, and I felt myself come together. I felt a piece of me that had never been there, this empty piece fit come together. And I want you to know my friend did not get her shawl back for the rest of the night. I stayed in that arena. So the next morning I'm telling my mother about this. Who is the Hungarian? I said, Mama, I complete for some reason. And she says, oh, that's just that Indian blood of yours. I said, oh, really? So at 40 years old, I found out I was part Native. And I asked her what tribe, and she said Cherokee. And I thought, I want to be Comanche. I want to be the wild horse people, you know. The Cherokees are too civilized, you know, for me. But so anyway, I went on the quest and to study my roots and find my people. I was invited to Sweat Lodge. And the first Sweat Lodge I went to, I'm horribly claustrophobic, but I'm doing anthropological study, right? And so this elder has passed on, so I can't mention his name. But I get in this Sweat Lodge, and there's like 40 people in there. I mean, that's a lot of people. And I'm kind of sitting at the end because I thought, man, I'm going to have to run out of here. I'm just so scared. And Grandpa Wallace came and sat down, and he said, no one has ever died in a Sweat Lodge. And I thought, he heard my mind. I better really be careful what I say in here. Or think. You know, he could read my mind. And so I thought, okay, well, that's reassuring. And so this was an interesting thing. They were doing this teaching. It was a 2-day weekend thing. It was like $150 a person, and we didn't have that money, but they couldn't charge for the Sweat Lodge. And I really want to impress that upon you. If you're ever invited to a Sweat Lodge, you do not pay for it. It is free. It is given freely. There are a lot of people out there that take these teachings and use them for benefit, and it's not to be that way. So the first thing I was told by an elder was never pay to pray. And I haven't. You know, there's contributing to fire and stuff like that, but it's not for profit. So I go through this Sweat Lodge, and it's really hot and it's really crowded, and I thought, what on earth were you thinking? What are you doing? And then I thought, well, I'll just listen to all the prayers of everybody. And what I did is I got to rise above that fear. I wasn't afraid anymore. So the whole point of a lot of Native ceremonies is to make yourself rise above those things that are holding you back. That was the beginning for me. I wanted to know. So then I got invited to this Yuibi ceremony, and the reason I got invited to these things was because I was the driver of this woman that wanted to do this stuff. And through my life, because I've been the driver for somebody, I've been to some pretty amazing things that I ordinarily would not have been able to attend. And the reason, you know, that's being of service. That's all I was doing, was being of service. I got taken to a Sundance. I can't even tell you all the things. Sequoia Guest's funeral, who is a renowned poet in the Cherokee Nation. What I have in my hands here, probably wonder, because they're keeping me sane, are prayer ties. And they represent each direction. So quickly, this is the teachings I have. There's many different teachings out there. I don't have, you know, they're just different. So depends on the teacher, depends on, and I understand that the teaching that I was given to do the ceremonies that I do is descended from Sitting Bull. Now, I'm not totally sure of that, but that's what I was told at this meeting the other night, that that is the lineage of what I do. So first of all, we have yellow. It's for the east. That's where the eagle is. That's where the child, the infant is. That's where we start. South is for the child and innocence. Black is the nightland. That's where the spirits go. We were talking about death. And Native Americans are circular. That's why I tried to put the room in a circle, because nobody's above or below anybody. We are all equal. And there is no death. It's just a shift in energy. So the Nightland is for the spirits, it's for the winter, it's for the bear. So we can go in as an adult, we can hibernate, we can sit back. I have people telling me all the time in the winter, I don't have any energy, I'm not doing anything, oh my gosh. You know, and it's like, we're not supposed to in the winter. We're supposed to be relaxing, resting, because the spring's gonna come and we have to do the planting. There's all kinds of things that we have to do in the spring. North is where the buffalo is, and that's the elders. And this is where we want to go on the 4 directions. Earth is sustenance. The earth feeds us. Blue is for the sky that protects us. And a lot of teachings don't have this one, but this is my favorite. It's purple and it's for spirit. We're all together at this color. So a lot of us Native people, well, I claim it. I have people say, well, how much are you? I don't know. And I think that's a very strange question to ask somebody, because we've been intermixing with people for 500 years. There's the French, the Spanish, whatever. There's rarely a full-blooded Indian today. We're just all mixed up. But anyway, so these are just visible prayers. I made some for my auntie, and she had been given 6 months to live, and she lived 4 years because she kept looking at these prayers. So a lot of us are trying to relearn these things. I have this little tattoo here, and it says, the next person that tries to take my heritage has to peel me. That's how serious I am about it. And so my partner here, my half side, has a song about living in the white world and forgetting his heritage, and then he found it.
Walked out this morning let's find a better way. Don't let the world get away. Don't let the world get away. Don't let the world get away.
So, what is the drum about anyway? It's about your heartbeat. It's the heartbeat of the universe. I bet people come up to me and say, oh my gosh, I've got to be Indian because when I hear that drum, my heart's right there. Well, if you're a human being, your heart is going to go with the drum. Feel your heart. Of course, we all have hearts, don't we?
Yes.
Okay. I want to talk about our skirts. Let's stand up. This is something else we do. I really like it when I get to talk and do stuff because I can dress up in my native clothing. Usually we are walking around just like everybody else. We don't live in teepees. We're not washing our clothes on the rocks anymore. We have, washing machines. But we get asked these things, especially Manny. He got asked all kind of crazy things. And I was a vendor and I did little pouches and this lady said, do you chew the leather yourself? And it's just fun, it's just because there's these things that are out there like what you put in your chanupa, your pipe, what you put in there. I was going to talk about white buffalo calf woman this morning, but I don't have time. But I'm going to talk about what these skirts are about. Deb Havlin is a senator.
She recently was elected to be the Secretary of the Interior of the United States.
Yes, and she's
Native American.
Nope.
I can't remember.
She's either Navajo or Hopi. But when she was inaugurated, she wore her ribbon skirt. And what this is about is women's power. I didn't feel that I had any power as a woman until I got on the red road. We are considered the backbone of the men. And the men honor us in that way. They realize that they need us behind them. And they treat us that way. Now, one of the other things that our skirts are about is the murdered and missing Indigenous people. That has come to light. And I was down in Palm Springs. They were having a Department of Defense convention. And that's where I got to meet Chief Arvo Looking Horse, who has the pipe of white buffalo calf woman. So there's your deal. That's the next going to talk. I'm going to talk about white buffalo calf woman. But this is Juniper, and this is what we do. I have adopted her as my daughter. I didn't know that until right now.
I know it.
And I wanted to make this skirt for her. And one of the traditions, there's 7 traditions of the Sioux, and one of them is making of relatives. And I'm an only child, so I adopt people all the time. And she's my daughter, and I have adopted grandparents, mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters, whatever. This is my sister, Leah here, and my delightful friend, Marvin. So did we bring any light out of the darkness today?
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
We're smiling, and our hearts are beating. When I first heard this, I had these little cabins, and these girls burned it to the ground within 24 hours. And I was walking back from a friend's house. I was upset. And there's this raven sitting up on the telephone pole, and it's yak, 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 yak. obvious it's trying to communicate with me. When I got on the red road, when I went to ceremony, it wasn't, oh, this is what I've learned. It was, this is what I have believed all my life, and so do they. You know, it wasn't a transformation for me. It was, these are my people. This is the way I think. So I'm listening to the raven. Do we listen to animals? Who listens to animals? Yeah, they have a lot to tell us. So I thought, so I went home and I got my animal speak book out. And it said, the raven tells you to bring light out of the darkness. I went, okay. And that's what I've been talking about. And so Manny has a song about bringing light out of the darkness.
I dedicate this song to Jennifer. Beautiful. She loves this artist.
Ooh.
Dear darling, it's been a long, cold, lonely winter. Dear darling, it's been so long since it's been here. Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun. I see it's alright.
Let's move. Woo.
Dear darling, I see the smile return to me. Dear darling, it's been so long since it's been here. Here comes the sun.
It's all right.
Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun. I say it's alright. It's alright.
I'm assuming that means you're done.